residents who want to start their own business.
Is it growing? The people that want to start their own business? I think we're all in uncharted territories with the COVID time.
Yeah, so, I was at the Chamber of Commerce meeting this morning, and someone came up to me and said that they just read on Bloomberg that 405,000 businesses were started this month. I was like, holy cow, right? It's crazy. Huge numbers. Huge numbers.
Did it break down what industry?
I didn't have a chance because I just came from there to here, so I am gonna look it up as soon as I get back to my office. But,
okay.
But anyway, the point being, the numbers are up significantly for people wanting to open their own businesses. And so part of that is because of COVID. People worked, remotely, worked from home. They liked it. They want to keep doing that. They want to maybe do their own thing. Maybe they got downsized and they're on unemployment. So now what are they going to do afterwards? That kinds of things. So I think that gets the wheels turning. But I will say, and I said this to him too, we chatted about this, we still think, and I still think, and I will always think that if you do want to start a business, I think that's fantastic, and I think you should do it. But I think you should get a job, okay?
Okay.
Go to work every day, Monday through Friday, get your job, get your benefits covered, and so on. In the evenings and on the weekends, work on your side gig. Perfect your process, your product, your service, whatever it's going to be. Do all your due diligence, write your business plan, talk to people, prove the concept, and et cetera, while you're on somebody else's payroll and you're making some money.
I mentioned this earlier. I specifically wanted to ask you because you would know Lisa Diaz with job training for Beaver County. Does everybody and their mama have a food truck now? Because there are a lot of food trucks, and we've spoken about your own business. A food truck's not the most safe, genteel way to jump into it.
Yeah, there are a lot of food trucks in the area. I have a difficult time wrapping my head around the popularity of food trucks in Pittsburgh. I'm sorry, I just do, right? Why do I say that? Well, I say that because the weather in Pittsburgh is not ideal.
You're getting a short season.
Right?
Yeah.
So in January, I am unlikely, I probably can't find it. I probably can't find a food truck, but I'm unlikely to stop at one on the way home from work and wait around for some tacos anyway, right? Because it's 10 degrees or 10 below zero or something.
It's not a snow cone day. No.
Right, I'm not doing it. So I feel like that's tough. But if you are hell-bent on having a food truck, then probably my suggestion would be, my first question is going to, well, I'd have a million questions, but I would eventually ask, what are we going to do in the winter, right? What's the plan for the winter? Because I don't know that that's going to sustain you for the rest of the year, for the whole entire year.
How optimistic, maybe unrealistic are people when they want to start a business? Is their first thought, okay, I want this to sustain my life constantly, consistently within X number of months? That sounds really optimistic to jump into it. Sounds like you telling them you better hang on to a gig while you're doing it becomes that much more vital.
Yeah, I think, optimism is good. It's better than pessimism. But I think we still have to do all the proper due diligence. People get very excited to buy a food truck on day one, sign a lease on day one. Don't do that. I realize that sounds really, really fun, right?
Well, it's a tangible step towards whatever you're doing. Look, I have a food truck now.
Right. And you have bragging rights like crazy, right? What I'm going to suggest is so much more boring and mundane, right? Go in a room, get some paper, get a pen, start writing some things. Like I said before, due diligence, do all your due diligence. Who's your target customer? Who's your competition? Write your business plan. Talk to a gazillion people. If it's food related, if you want to have a food business, let's cost out all your recipes. Let's get every single recipe nailed down. Let's cost it all out.
Per portion.
Let's feed it to a couple of hundred people. And I always say, let's feed it to a couple of hundred people that don't like you, right?
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Right. Don't say...
Well, but then aren't they going to worry you're trying to poison them?
No, but just that don't like you, not that hate you.
Okay.
But don't tell me I'm going to have a food truck because my mom loves my food and my boyfriend loves my food. That's not going to work. That's
Yeah.
not going to prove the concept, right?
Unless mom and boyfriend have unlimited pockets and serious ADHD eating habits,
Right.
that's not going to sustain you.
Work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not as glamorous as maybe some people would like it to be or would hope it to be. It's not that glamorous.
When people show up and they take the seminars, do they understand the basic concepts that you're talking about, like demographics and target audience and seasonal issues?
Do they know before they come?
Yeah.
I would say typically no.
Okay.
Typically no. Occasionally we get a superstar, you know. But I mean, the typical person, it's a lot of concepts that they haven't really been exposed to.
All they know, what did they know when they come in? Describe one of those people, because if you're talking about 30 hours of training, you're going to give them all the information they need. What information do they typically show up with?
Well, they typically show up with an idea
That their mom really likes.
that their mom really likes. And they probably have done something towards it. We have a lot of people that want to bake, right? They want to have a bakery, or they want to have, you know, sell baked goods and that sort of thing. And so that's very popular. And so we have people that have been baking for a long time. But again, that's a hobby, right? So I have to be the person who tells you what you may think is a business is actually a hobby, right?
Do you bum people out sometimes? Because one of the reasons I really genuinely, as a person like you, you're honest.
Well, I mean, the surveys have been very good. So, because we survey them all the time. They have to fill out a survey for every speaker that comes in, and they do 2 surveys on me and on the program and on the whole shebang. And the surveys are always very positive. I have to tell you the truth. I can't tell you something that you want to hear that I know is not going to serve you well.
You can't lie for the benefit of my feelings.
Well, no, and I would never do that, right? But I'm going to tell you the truth, and it's going to come from a place of caring about you, right? I mean, I tell people, for example, when we do the one on money, I do this. We have a speaker who comes in, because that's his field, so we have him come in and talk. But I always show this thing called the latte factor, and it's this calculation based on the money that one wastes on a let's say on a weekly basis, and we calculate it between now and when you're going to retire, and then we calculate what you would have had if you had invested that money. Okay, and so that's a very harsh reality.
$9 a day. That's my daughter's number for the daily coffee shop stop.
Right.
$9.
And I'm going to tell you that if she's I'm assuming she's young, right? That's going to be a 6-figure, possibly a 7-figure, change. I'll send it to you. And you can send it to her.
No, don't. It'll just
do it.
It'll just make me mad.
But we do that for, let's say the client's name is Mary. I say, Mary, I know you don't like this, but I care about old Mary, right? You're young now, but I care about you now today, but I also care about old Mary. And I want old Mary to be doing okay. And that's why I have to point this out to you. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but it's if I signed up for this, I would expect to get the nuts and bolts of how to start a business. I wouldn't have expected the emotional connection of, I'm not just going to tell you this. I'm going to there's a reason for this. I'm not just schlepping the information to you.
There's going to be a reason for everything that we tell you.
The next set of what's the
Workshops.
word? Thank you, workshop.
Mm-hmm.
I talk for a living. The next workshops, it's from August 7th through September 11th. What is first off, totally free.
Totally free.
If I want to go to the workshops, how do I sign up? When am I showing up? What days do I have to be perky?
So you don't have to be perky, because I'll be perky for both of us. But anyway, so Mondays and Wednesday mornings from 9 a.m. to noon, 10 workshops over the course of 5 weeks. don't be late, and we don't give you any breaks. But people love it. It's okay.
Wait,
you won't want any
3
breaks.
hours and you don't give people breaks?
Nope.
Do the smokers and vapors get a little twitchy about midway through?
Listen, here's the thing.
You don't care. You're teaching them.
This is a bit like what is the expression? Drinking from a fire hose, right? So we're taking an enormous amount of information and we're condensing it down to 30 hours because that's all we're allowed. We have a 30-hour time frame, and that's what we have to do. So we have to cram a lot of information in there. So of course,
why is that all you're allowed?
Well, it's grant funded, so there's very
okay.
specific,
So that's how it covers
Yeah.
it. These are the hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But if you need to, whatever, take a phone call, make a phone call, do something, get a drink of water, you go ahead and go do that. But I don't have any breaks where I say, okay, we're all going to leave for a few minutes because I won't get anybody back. If I say 5 minutes, they'll be gone for 15 minutes, so I can't have that.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
And I took a couple night classes during the break. The crowd was thinner after the break, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Lisa Diaz is my guest. News is next. It's Teleforum on Beaver County Radio.
Oh my goodness, Amy, it's so good to see you.
Jennifer, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Is your mom doing any better?
Thank you for asking. I don't know if I can answer without being emotional. I'm sorry. I'm just tired and worried. I can't always be there for her, and it's so stressful.
I really understand. That's how I was with my dad. I'd recommend calling St. Barnabas. We did. We started with just having them come in for home care. He was so excited to see them show up. And when he needed more, we were able to move him in at Beaver Meadows, where he still has his own home-like space and excellent care.
Thanks for telling me that. I don't even know how to start, but I have to do something.
Oh, you can just give St. Barnabas a call. They have directors that can explain how it all works. Trust me, you'll feel so much better, and so will your mom.
I'm so glad I ran into you.
Visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com or call 724-443-0700 for care apart from the ordinary.
Friendly Federal Credit Union, you got a friend.
Do you like family reunions? How about class reunions? Seeing familiar, friendly faces at a gathering is something most people look forward to. With that in mind, how about having a reunion worth telling others about? This is Cindy Hiladio from Friendly Federal Credit Union. If you miss the experience of seeing a live teller at your current financial institution, maybe it's time to reunite with Friendly Federal Credit Union. You'll get that same warm, fuzzy experience of connecting with others, just like attending a reunion, but without having to get your hair dyed or wear a name tag. What do you say? It's time to have a reunion with live, personable, friendly tellers. Visit Friendly Federal Credit Union, member NCUA, equal housing lender.
Friendly Federal Credit Union, you got a friend.
Hi, folks. I'm with our good friend John Diagardi from Roe Monument. John, you were telling me earlier that people really should not rush into choosing a memorial for their loved one. Now, why is that?
We found that families need to take ample time to grieve first. Grief is not something that we get over, but rather something that we learn to live with. So the length of time to grieve varies from person to person.
You mentioned that the monument can't be placed right away.
That's right. There are certain things that need to take place before a monument can be installed. So it's really worth taking time to think about how to plan and design a memorial that truly reflects a person's life. It's actually a healing activity that helps to alleviate grief.
John, this makes a lot of sense.
It does, and when the time is right to proceed, not only can Roe Monument help families choose and design their memorial, we can help them save as much as 50% by eliminating the middleman.
Thank you, John. Folks, you can learn more simply by visiting RomeMonuments.com.
Hey, it's time to wake up, Beaver Valley. Hi, this is Pastor David Grove from the Church of the Redeemed of Beaver Valley. After over 2 years on the air, it seems that some of you still cannot get up in time. So I've got good news. Wake Up Beaver Valley is moving to a new time, now airing from 9 to 10, this and every Saturday morning. It's time to wake up and turn our hearts back to the cross of Jesus Christ. So I invite you to wake up early this Saturday. To find out more, it's Wake Up Beaver Valley, Saturdays from 9 until 10 a.m. on Beaver County Radio. God bless you.
Tune in to Beaver County Radio, Sunday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. for Scott Paulson's Radio Stella. Radio Stella is presented by Fry Transportation and is all about the history of rock and roll. Scott is armed with thousands of songs and useless rock and roll trivia that he has put together to bring you 2 hours of jams every Sunday night that you may never forget. Radio Stella is also being brought to you in part by Pittsburgh Guitar. So tune in Radio Stella with Scott Paulson every Sunday night from 7 to 9 here on Beaver County Radio. Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Curtis Walsh.
Good morning. We can expect partly sunny skies today with a high near 77 degrees. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after this look at news. Members of the Blackhawk School Board voted to fire Dr. Robert Postupak Thursday. Postupak and Moon Area School Board member Mark Scape violated ethics laws by trading jobs for their children within districts. Postupak has been on paid administrative leave since early June when Dr. William Pettigrew was named the acting superintendent of schools. Postupak is still currently employed as the superintendent of the Western Beaver School District. In a statement provided to Beaver County Radio, Postupak says that he is innocent and the State Ethics Commission did not recommend the filing of criminal charges against him. He says enough is enough and the accusations and illegal actions will be disputed in the coming weeks as his attorneys prepare to file an appeal in the Court of Common Pleas. Postupak goes on to say he has been an educator for decades and has made tough decisions to turn around Blackhawk's once sinking financial ship and is prepared for this fight. Workers began installation of a new sign at the Beaver Falls waterfall feature on 7th Avenue. The falls sign that is now in place is said to be a stronger build than the first one that was previously installed earlier this year. That sign suffered damages before being removed. You can see a picture or join the discussion on the WBVP-WMBA Facebook page. State police have released details regarding an accident that took place in Hookstown Wednesday around 7:45 p.m. A single vehicle accident occurred on US 30 near Pittsburgh Grade Road. The 34-year-old driver was ejected from the vehicle and sustained serious injuries. An investigation into the crash remains open, and we have not received word on the driver's current condition. Classrooms are closed for the summer, but local teachers are still thinking of ways to stimulate learning experiences within them. That's why local McDonald's restaurants are offering MAC grants to help area middle school teachers make activities count for their students. The MAC grants program provides financial support so teachers can supplement regular classroom curriculums with activities that the school's budget may not allow. Since the program's inception, McDonald's restaurants have awarded more than $3.3 million to local teachers to support hands-on learning activities in their classrooms. 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teachers may apply for grants of up to $500 for interesting and educational projects. Applications must be submitted by August 4th. Congressman Chris DeLuzio voted in support of the Federal Aviation Administration reauthorization, the measure that authorizes the FAA and governs all aviation activity in the United States for the next 5 years. The bill is endorsed by many of the major labor unions for workers in the sector. Additionally, Congressman DeLuzio joined with Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky and others to fight airline industry efforts to roll back transparency requirements for airline fees that have been in place since the Obama administration. However, the House Republican majority blocked their amendment from moving to the House floor for a vote. The perpetrator of the 2018 Pittsburgh Synagogue Massacre had a deeply unstable life from childhood through his adult years. That's according to a clinical psychologist who traced Robert Bowers' attempts to kill himself amid turmoil and violence in his family. The testimony came Thursday during the sentencing phase of his trial. Bowers killed 11 worshipers from 3 congregations at the Tree of Life Synagogue. He was convicted last month on 63 charges in the deadliest anti-Semitic attack in U.S. history. Federal jurors must decide if he should be sentenced to death or life in prison with no chance of parole. Catherine Porterfield says Bowers' childhood was laden with trauma, neglect, and abuse.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
We can expect partly sunny skies today with a high near 77 degrees. It'll be partly cloudy tonight, going down to a low of 57. Sunshine tomorrow with a high of 81. Sunshine on Sunday with a high of 84. Sun on Monday reaching a high of 86. And some rain and thunderstorms possible Tuesday with a high of 84 degrees. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Curtis Walsh on 99.3 FM, 95.7 FM, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Talk about what's happening in Beaver County or around the world on Teleforum, 724-843-1888, 724-774-1888. It's Teleforum with Eddie Crow.
It is, except for this hour, it's not about me. It's a much nicer hour, and that Lisa Diaz is with me. We're talking about Smart Start, and we're talking about job training, and we're talking about the new set of workshops that are coming up. Before we get any further, I got more questions for you, and it's great to see you again. If you want to see Lisa, you can see her. If I press the right button, there you go. There's the ticket. This is being live Facebook streamed, so you can go on our Facebook and watch this. The next set of classes is coming up starting August 7th, and it goes through September 11th, twice a week for 3 hours a day. Did I remember that right?
Yep.
All right.
Monday morning, 9 to 12. Wednesday morning, 9 to 12.
How did people get signed up?
So they can call me. 724. You read the phone number, Eddie. I don't remember the phone number. It's on that paper.
It's your phone number.
I know. I never call the number.
Good point by you. 724-728-4860, extension 238.
That's it.
Just like uranium. And ldiaz@jtbc.org. That's job training for Beaver County. And you teach all the classes, but you bring in special guests and you have speakers. Mm-hmm. What's the first class? Because that's to get to know you. That's when the teacher gets sorted out. That's when the students figure out what they think about the teacher.
So the first class is very important to us. So when you sign up, there's some paperwork because we're grant funded. So there's a little bit of paperwork that you have to do. And then there's a sheet I created that asks you questions specifically about your idea and your business. And because we want to know what your idea is, what your ideas are, what you've done in the past, that kind of a thing. If you already have your EIN and sort of things like that.
What? Back up.
Why?
EIN?
Oh, so that's it's an identification number. It also has to do with our grant.
Acronyms startle me. I just want to
No, don't be startled.
Okay.
It's a number that you can get for free online from the PA.gov site, and it takes about 5 minutes, and it's completely free. It's so that you don't have to use your social security number to identify yourself anymore. At any rate,
had that become a problem?
Well,
are people more hesitant? I guess I can understand it.
Yeah, you don't want your social on everything. Plus, you look more like a legitimate business if you have an EIN number instead of using your social. So, yeah.
And that's one of the things that you teach.
Yeah. But so to answer your question, though, the first class is almost, at least an hour or more taken up by talking to each person individually. In class, but we go one at a time because I want to hear all about, I don't want you to say, "Hi, I'm Lisa, and I want to open a bakery." Period. End of story. No. I want to hear about why you like baking. Have you been baking? You baked with your grandmother when you were little. You used to make something, and these are the recipes from her. I want to hear about all of that.
How much weight do you put to that, though? Because we talked earlier, you said just because you like baking doesn't necessarily mean it's a bit. You're talking about personal anecdotal stuff versus the business side of understanding.
But part of the reason why I want to do that is because this person doesn't know anybody else in the room. I want them to feel comfortable.
Warming them up.
Okay? Mm-hmm. And I want them to feel important, right? So my mother says, MMFI, make me feel important. So it's very important to me that all the clients feel important. So if you want to talk for a half an hour, I am not going to stop you, right? I'm going to let you tell us all about it in all the detail, right?
You ever had to bite your lip? You ever had somebody said something so ridiculous, and you're very polite, and you're honest, but you're polite. I can see you standing there listening to something that in your head you're going, oh my goodness, what is this person talking about?
Well, so, not all ideas are good, right? I mean, generally speaking, though, ideas aren't good or bad. It's the execution of the idea that might be good or bad.
Can good execution make a bad idea good, or at least better? Or are you doomed with a bad idea?
So let me answer it
uphill?
this way. So
Okay.
if I certainly do hear some ideas that I would think that I would consider to be not good ideas, right? But I don't get too worried about it on day one. We're going to kind of help you articulate that, help you refine it, so that as we move through the 10 workshops, you're going to see sort of what I see, and we're going to tweak it a little bit, kind of scrape off the rough edges and kind of mold it into what's an idea that we think would actually work.
Are people ever just obstinate? This is my idea, and I'm not changing my idea. Do you ever run it? Because if it's a passion project, like if I'm baking and it's because the emotion of my grandmother taught me how to bake, might be a little hesitant to take direction from something outside that emotional sphere.
Yeah, I mean, we get people that are really stuck on their ideas. Somebody wants to use their grandmother's recipe because it's their grandmother's or whatever. But I will tell you that if you serve that recipe that was your grandmother's to 100 people, and if, some high percentage of them tell you it's whatever.
They don't care for your grandma. Yes.
Too salty, too spicy, too something. You have to change grandma's recipe. Right. Again, if you want to have a business, you have to listen to your customers. Right.
Well, you're talking about not wanting to give up the emotional part. I don't want to change grandma's recipe.
Right.
That's my grandma's recipe.
So my question is going to be, Eddie, do you want to make money, or do you want to just pay homage to your grandmother? Because we may not be able to do both.
How much of what gets brought to you business-wise idea involves technology versus food trucks? I mean, obviously technology exists in everything, but are there Silicon Valley sounding startups that are still trying to be started up?
So I don't get those. So I would say no. I get more of the bakeries and food trucks and retail stores, things like that.
What are people trying to do with retail?
So we talked to a lovely young lady the other day, Terry. Hi, Terry.
Hi, Terry.
And she has a fantastic business in Beaver Falls, and we're helping her a little bit, kind of try to, I'm not going to go into too many details, but help her out with her retail store. So, because sometimes, when you're a solopreneur.
A what? A solopreneur. Okay.
Right? A sole proprietor, entrepreneur. It's a little, it can be difficult, right? Because you have to make tons of decisions and you make them all by yourself.
Isn't that what draws people? Or isn't that one of the things? You've owned your own business and you've said to you that was cool. Lisa Diaz, decision maker.
Right. So I like making decisions. I'm fine with making lots of decisions quickly. That is a good, that's something that an entrepreneur should be able to do, make lots of decisions quickly. And not second guess herself or himself. But after doing that for several years, sometimes it's nice to have someone else who's kind of walked that same path, at least be a little bit of a sounding board.
Is trust something that can be earned? If you and I are partners in the business, but you make all the decisions and you need to wean yourself away from that, how much of it is I got to stop making I got too much, but how much of that opens up as you start to trust someone? I've known a lot of people that didn't trust anyone to do their job because they thought they did it better. How do you develop trust in that relationship, especially if you're talking about something emotional like my grandmother's pasta?
Yeah. Well, so that makes me think of So we've had people with recipes, right? And they don't, I'll say, how many flavors or what flavor, and they think I'm trying to steal some secret. I'm not trying to steal a secret. I'm just trying to ask some questions. So we had a lady who did her.
I already like this story. You've giggled 3 times. You can't even tell this story. All right, go ahead.
She was using her grandmother's salsa recipe, right? And I really do think she thought I was trying to get the ingredients. I was most certainly not.
You were trying to steal her mama's salsa.
I absolutely was not, because we wanted to help her cost it out and that sort of thing, and you need a recipe in order to do that.
Yeah, you need the list of ingredients.
But I'm not trying to steal the recipe. But I will say this, in salsa or in many other things, there are spices that are part of the ingredient, right? So if you don't want anybody, but here's what you do, though. Here's what you do. If you don't want anybody to know, right?
You do it in
you
like
put it in
packets?
a big jar.
Uh-huh.
You put the salt, you put the pepper, you put the cayenne, you put the cumin, you put the oregano, you put the basil, you put whatever the heck it is. You put it all in there in a big thing. Stir it all up.
It's grandma's blend.
And then you use, a larger portion of that blend. Exactly. And no one ever knows what it is. So there's always ways around it. No, I'm not trying to take anybody's recipe, I promise.
I'm thinking more the personality side of this for you to get people to. Is there a typical person that comes in and says, "This, I want to start a business"? Don't tell me the specific business, but is there a set of character traits that make someone better or more interested in being their own boss?
Sure. Or there are character traits that would make you a more successful entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Right?
Keeping secret of my grandma's spices.
Right. But I think, like I mentioned, I think you have to be able to make lots of decisions quickly and not second guess them once you've made them. But is that a deal breaker? Do you have to be able to do that? Well, no, but you probably should partner in business with someone who can.
So somebody's going to need to provide the ability to decide, move forward,
Absolutely.
don't dwell.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely.
It's 1230 WBVP and 1460 WNBA and 99.3 FM and 95.7 FM. Streaming live at beavercountyradio.com. You can get the app. You can go on our Facebook and wave at Lisa. Lisa Diaz is my guest. We're talking about how to start your own business. How surprised were you? You told me the number earlier. How many people wanted to start their own business? What was the number? It was ridiculous.
It's a ridiculous number. Yeah, I was completely shocked to see how many people are continuing to the new business filings, the EIN numbers and so on. That's
right.
How they get those counts, right? Shocked by the number. Yeah, shocked by the number, actually.
Why do you think that is? Because I understood it, and I remember we talked about this. People sat during COVID and said, I don't like the life I'm staring at, and I'm going to do my own thing. And there was an upsurge. I would think we're past that, but people are still going with the upsurge. Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, I don't, maybe I don't know the
Oh, no, I don't know.
Well, no, I was going to say, I don't know the unemployment rate right this minute. Like, I don't know if it's...
It's very low.
Okay, it's
relatively
very low.
speaking, it's very low. I think
All right.
it was 3 or 4% last number I saw.
So that's good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, I'm always going to tell you to get a job and work on something as a side gig, right? So I'm glad to find out that it is very low, which means, because if it were very high, I would be concerned that all these filings are from these unemployed folks, right? So if you're unemployed...
Oh, I didn't think of it like that.
Get a job, but start your side gig. Absolutely, 100% start your side gig. Start it small, but start it.
Are there seasonal side gigs? Do people consider that? If I own a snow cone truck, I probably need to consider, November through February, I ain't gonna make no money.
Yeah. I mean, you should certainly factor that in. But I would say this to you. I mean, snow cones is a little extreme because that's, or snow plowing, that's a very extreme.
Well, there's the other side of it.
But all businesses have a seasonal element to them, right? I mean, I had a CD store near college campuses. It had a seasonality to it, right? because over the summer there were fewer teachers and students and so on. I had a linen rental business that definitely had a seasonal component to it.
Wedding season, prom season.
Yeah. So, but yeah, businesses in general have a seasonality to them. So, which means just because you have one great month doesn't mean next month is going to be the same or better, right? We can't assume that it's just going up and to the right forever. You know, it's going to ebb and flow probably.
One of the things that is, and we see this every day in business, more important every day, social media. Is that a tough thing for somebody to learn my age? Is that somebody that comes in, you know, in their 20s or 30s, it's just second nature to them?
Oh, for sure.
How do you approach social media? Okay, so I walk in, I don't know nothing about social media. I've got a Facebook account. That's it.
Yeah.
What do you start talking to me about?
So again, we have an expert who comes in. He's fantastic. Patrick Schober, Poetica Marketing. If anyone's listening, he is fantastic. He's very devoted to our program. He comes in every single time in class number 6, and I give him a thumbnail sketch of every client ahead of time in the class so that when he comes in, he's ready to hit the ground running with marketing and social media ideas for each person individually.
So he comes in with stuff ready, individualized for each person.
Because I send him all the
That's
information
great.
ahead of time. Yeah, it's fantastic. We found him, and it's been awesome. But he will point out things like, you know, again, the importance of knowing who your target market is. You have to know who your target customer is. Why? If you don't know, then where are we finding them, right? Everybody's like, oh, well, I'm on Facebook. Well,
so
here's the thing. We find out from statistics that the average, I've never been on Facebook, so I don't know, but the average Facebook person is a 50-something-year-old woman.
all of the information
Okay.
you could ever want to mine is available on Facebook.
Sure.
Yeah.
But my point is, if your target market does not include 50-something-year-old women, do not be on Facebook.
That's not the platform for you.
If you're selling something to 30-year-old men, you do not. I would submit to you that you don't need to be on Facebook. So don't bother.
Is it tough to keep track because every 30 minutes there's a new platform? And they come and go,
Well,
and this one's good, and now this one used to be good, and this one's going to take the place of that one, and this one's for angry people.
Yeah.
You can fine tune it, but can it get to be a little bit too overwhelming with all the different choices?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd probably stick with, the 3 or 4 big ones and figure out which 1 or 2 you need to be on. You don't, again, this is my opinion. I don't think, people do not need to be on all of them, right? I mean, it can get a little ridiculous. You can go a little bit overboard because you have to be consistently posting on all those platforms with great regularity, or else you might as well not even bother.
Multiple times a day.
So if you can manage 1 or 2, then stick with that. Don't do a poor job trying to be on half a dozen, right? Do a good job of being on 1.
Ron Swanson, don't half-ass 2 things, whole-ass 1 thing.
Well, I hadn't heard that, but I'm stealing it, so thank you.
Glad to do it. Lisa
Thank you.
Diaz, 724-728-4860, extension 238. If you want to sign up for the workshops, it's 10 3-hour workshops, and the newest one, the upcoming one starts August 7th. What did I not ask you that I should have asked you? It's great seeing you.
I'll tell you what, make sure you come, because on the 10th class, we have the kind of like the little graduation where everybody stands up and does their elevator pitch, which we have refined over the course of 10 weeks.
Right.
And gotten everybody very comfortable doing it, practiced enough, and so on. Read their business plans to a panel of people. We listen, we ask questions, we make suggestions, and then we feed everybody.
There you go. So you're presenting a dissertation, but you're getting fed for it.
Exactly.
Lisa Diaz, you'll come back and visit again?
I sure will.
Absolutely. Lisa Diaz, call her. Get schooled up, start your own business. You know this, and I know this. Your boss is a horse's rear end. 724-728-4860, extension 238.
Thanks for tuning in to Beaver County Radio, created by local people in the St. Barnabas studios. 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge.
Beaver County Radio and the Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company are teaming up to present Cruisin' on the Ridge, a series of car cruises during our 75th summer celebration that will be held the third Saturday of every month from 12 to 5 p.m. at the new Beaver County Radio Studios. The third cruise, featuring the music of Boss Stingrays, will be on August 19th at the new studio location of 4301 Dutch Ridge Road in Brighton Township. Beaver County Radio's Solid Gold Saturday host J.D. Merkel will also be spinning tunes in the parking lot. There will be food trucks, prize giveaways, raffles, and a 50-50. Cruisin' the Ridge is being brought to you by Patriot Home Care, Falcone's Moon Township Ford, Circle of Friends, Ambridge Italian Villa, Friendly Federal Credit Union, J&J Spratt Funeral Home, Town Square Restaurant, The Standard Restaurant, T.L. Ferguson Building and Landscaping Supply, Beaver Valley Auto Mall, LaBelle Bridal, Junction Auto, Fisher's Foodland, Al's Corner and Koppel, Wags on 3rd, J. Young Refuse, Dylan McCandless King Coulter and Graham LLC, the Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company, and Beaver County Radio.
Do you have low back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, or foot ankle pain? Many of these conditions could be prevented by simply working on flexibility as much as strength. Dale Reckless at MRS Physical Therapy is happy to announce a new one-on-one assisted stretching experience, Proprioceptive Neuromuscular Facilitation, or PNF, a stretching technique utilized to increase range of motion and flexibility by increasing the length of the muscle and increasing neuromuscular efficiency. A flexible body is the core basic need for our body to function well, and we tend to omit this important component and skip over to strength and conditioning. Even people with balance issues as they age may prevent exacerbation of their condition if they work on their flexibility. Book a 25-minute PNF session today and call MRS Physical Therapy in Bridgewater and Cranberry. Visit mrsphysicaltherapy.com for more information.
Falling in love is one thing. Having anxiety about falling is a whole different subject. If you or a family member are concerned about falling, and yes, either up or down the stairs, or maybe even out of bed, St. Barnabas has a special message and some ideas just for you. Years of experience in working with people who are prone to falls has given St. Barnabas special expertise in this area. Call them at 724-443-0700 and learn about ways that you can begin to feel more confident and safe, including suggestions that you can implement right now into your daily routine. Call St. Barnabas at 724-443-0700. For many years now, St. Barnabas has been helping people fall, in love that is, with their new, better life, a longer life, a risk-free life. Call St. Barnabas now at 724-443-0700 or visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com and learn more about living longer and better.
Did you know that if you have the ability to listen to the radio, you have the ability to dig a ditch? It's true. By renting the right equipment from D&G Rentals in Beaver Falls, you can turn big projects into simple ones. So if you can master your cell phone, you can probably build a new patio or pour a new sidewalk. You already have the know-how, you just don't have the right tools. And that's where D&G Rentals comes in. Visit dgrent.com. So remember, if you can change the channel, you can probably change a transmission with a little help from D&G Rentals.
Here is a question that is very easy to answer. Would you rather be sold something or get professional help and advice that ultimately leads to a strategy that best suits your needs? Tom Young at First Consultants Inc. in Beaver has a unique approach that has won over the trust of even the most skeptical clients.
Everybody that's selling is looking for a profit. I focus on creating strategies that are in the client's best interest.
Ask yourself this: what have you got to lose? The answer might be a fortune. Get financial strategies instead of a pitch about a product. Visit firstconsultantsinc.com or be a part of Tom Young's live simulcast presentation on the third Tuesday of each month beginning at 9:10 a.m. on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live. All advisory services are offered through PL Wealth LLC. PL Wealth is a federally registered investment advisor. PL Wealth is no way affiliated with First Consultants, Inc., nor is First Consultants, Inc. a registered investment advisor.
Run or walk for free care and help those in need. Join St. Barnabas Charities Saturday, August 5th in Gibsonia for the 32nd annual Free Care 5K Run Walk. Call 724-625-3770. Enjoy a rolling 3.1 mile out and back course, cash prizes for top male and female finishers, as well as medals, prizes, runners bags, t-shirts, and more. It benefits the St. Barnabas Free Care Fund. Special thanks to presenting sponsor Paraka Interiors Flooring America. Register now at freecare5k.com or call 724-625-3770.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
I love the fact that I got the disclaimer in there ahead of time because I know what I'm going to do next hour, and the disclaimer absolutely needed to be propped up right up front. Oh, you'll hear it.
You're listening to 95.7 FM, 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge. Beaver County Radio's news source. 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Curtis Walsh.
Good morning. We can expect partly sunny skies today with a high near 77 degrees. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after this look at news. Members of the Blackhawk School Board voted to fire Dr. Robert Postupak Thursday. Postupak and Moon Area School Board member Mark Scape violated ethics laws by trading jobs for their children within districts. Postupak has been on paid administrative leave since early June when Dr. William Pettigrew was named the acting superintendent of schools. Postupak is still currently employed as the superintendent of the Western Beaver School District. In a statement provided to Beaver County Radio, Postupak says that he is innocent and the State Ethics Commission did not recommend the filing of criminal charges against him. He says enough is enough and the accusations and illegal actions will be disputed in the coming weeks as his attorneys prepare to file an appeal in the Court of Common Pleas. Postupak goes on to say he has been an educator for decades and has made tough decisions to turn around Blackhawk's once sinking financial ship and is prepared for this fight. Workers began installation of a new sign at the Beaver Falls waterfall feature on 7th Avenue. The falls sign that is now in place is said to be a stronger build than the first one that was previously installed earlier this year. That sign suffered damages before being removed. You can see a picture or join the discussion on the WBVP-WMBA Facebook page. State police have released details regarding an accident that took place in Hookstown Wednesday around 7:45 p.m. A single vehicle accident occurred on US 30 near Pittsburgh Grade Road. The 34-year-old driver was ejected from the vehicle and sustained serious injuries. An investigation into the crash remains open, and we have not received word on the driver's current condition. First Lady Lori Shapiro joined the Pennsylvania State Police yesterday for an event aimed at helping girls build their confidence, creativity, and decision-making skills. PSP's Bureau of Training and Education hosted summer campers from a Girls on the Run program for a day of fun and learning at the Academy in Hershey. The event included a look at the Pennsylvania State Police mounted and canine units, an obstacle course, and a building entry and clearing drill. 36 participants, all in grades 3 to 8, had an opportunity to interact with female troopers and the First Lady. Girls on the Run is a program focused on cooperative skills and team building through an encouraging group setting. Through lessons that are both educational and enjoyable, participants learn firsthand how to create positive connections with their families, teachers, peers, and communities. Congressman Chris Deluzio voted in support of the Federal Aviation Administration reauthorization, the measure that authorizes the FAA and governs all aviation activity in the United States for the next 5 years. The bill is endorsed by many of the major labor unions for workers in the sector. Additionally, Congressman Deluzio joined with Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky and others to fight airline industry efforts to roll back transparency requirements for airline fees that have been in place since the Obama administration. However, the House Republican majority blocked their amendment from moving to the House floor for a vote. Classrooms are closed for the summer, but local teachers are still thinking of ways to stimulate learning experiences within them. That's why local McDonald's restaurants are offering MAC grants to help area middle school teachers make activities count for their students. The MAC Grants program provides financial support so teachers can supplement regular classroom curriculums with activities that the school's budget may not allow. Since the program's inception, McDonald's restaurants have awarded more than $3.3 million to local teachers to support hands-on learning activities in their classrooms. 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teachers may apply for grants of up to $500 for interesting and educational projects. Applications